All right, let's talk about cancer, but maybe not in the way you're used to. Today, we're going to look at the science of cancer, not just as some random disease that happens to us, but as a process that really kicks off when our body's own defense systems start to break down. And the most important part? These are systems we can actually influence.
So, let me start with a pretty big question. What if your body already knows exactly how to fight cancer? The whole idea here is that our bodies are built with these incredibly powerful natural anti-cancer capabilities. And just understanding them, well, that's the first step to taking back some control.
Okay, let's get into it. To really wrap your head around this, you first have to meet your internal army. This powerful, built-in defense system that's on duty 24/7, working to protect you.
So this is your team, your body's core defense system. Think of them like this. You've got your gatekeepers. These are your tumor suppressor genes, and their job is to slam the brakes on any abnormal cells trying to divide. Then you've got the repair crew. These are enzymes constantly patching up little errors in your DNA. Up next is the disposal team, which uses a process called apoptosis, basically programmed cell death, to get rid of any cells that are just beyond repair. And of course, you have your sentinels, the immune system, always on patrol. Finally, you have the environment managers who work to keep your body's internal state balanced and healthy so the whole army can do its job right.
So if we have this amazing internal army, you've got to wonder, how does cancer ever even get a chance? Well, it happens when these defenses get worn down, when they get compromised. Let's take a look at how that system can actually break.
There are really two main ways our defenses get weakened by genetic mutations. On one side, you have inherited mutations. This is when someone is literally born with a weaker defense system. Think of genes like BRCA1. But on the other side, you have acquired mutations. And this right here is the game changer. These are breaks and errors in our DNA that happen during our life, and they're largely caused by chronic lifestyle choices and things in our environment.
And let's be clear about what we mean. We're not talking about one bad week or a single stressful event. We're talking about the long-term cumulative effect of things like our diet, our stress levels, our activity. It's the constant exposure to toxins, hormonal imbalances from things like chronic stress, and a state of what's called chronic inflammation, which is kind of like a low-grade fire inside your body that's constantly wearing down your DNA.
Okay, so all this science is great, but what does it actually look like in a person's life? Well, to make this real, we're going to look at the personal story of Deb Brewer, a stage 4 cancer survivor, as a kind of case study.
When Deb was diagnosed, her very first thought was, I had a feeling this might happen. And that wasn't just some random fear. It was this deep intuition she had, one that was rooted in their own awareness of her lifestyle patterns over many, many years.
Her story shows that for much of her life she was dealing with the exact factors that can weaken our defenses. We're talking about chronic stress from being a total workaholic, a pretty unbalanced relationship with food, and a serious sugar addiction. These weren't just short-term things. Over decades, these patterns were systematically breaking down her body's natural defenses.
And it all came together in what you could call a formula for cancer. Step 1, her defenses were already weakened from years of those lifestyle habits. Step 2, a physical trigger happened. For her, it was an injury in her leg from a medical treatment. And then step 3, with her defenses down, cancer took hold right at that spot, growing into a big sarcoma tumor.
So she had surgery to remove the tumor, and her doctors told her the cancer was gone. But, and this is the key, the underlying lifestyle patterns, the stress, the diet, they all continued. And just 8 months later, the cancer came back. This time, it had spread to her lungs. It's a really powerful example of how if you don't address the root causes, the environment for cancer can stick around.
This table just connects all the dots perfectly. It lays out the cause and effect so clearly. You can see it right there. A lack of nutrition? Boom, it depletes your immunity and damages DNA. Chronic stress? It fuels inflammation and actually tells your body not to get rid of damaged cells. And a sugar addiction? It's like pouring gasoline on the fire of DNA damage. You can see exactly how daily choices break down those core defenses we talked about.
So that brings us to the big question, right? If lifestyle choices can weaken our defenses, can they also be used to rebuild them? And the answer brings us to the solution, the 6 pillars of health.
The amazing news is that today, Deb's cancer is stable, and the key to her turning things around was adopting a plan based on these pillars. But what's so important here is the idea of balance. She follows the plan about 85% of the time. This proves it's not about being perfect, it's about being consistent and creating a body that promotes health most of the time.
So, what are these pillars?
Think of them as the playbook, the actual actionable steps to rebuild your defenses. It's the whole shebang, focusing on balanced nutrition, getting regular movement, prioritizing real, restorative sleep, managing stress, fostering positive social connections, and yeah, avoiding risky substances.
And this chart shows you exactly why this approach works so well. It's a direct counterattack to the breakdown we saw earlier. It supports your immune function, strengthening your sentinels. It promotes DNA repair, helping out your repair crew. It reduces that chronic inflammation. It's literally systematically rebuilding that internal army piece by piece.
All of this really leads to one incredibly powerful idea, that we can and we should take an active role in our own health, because our everyday choices matter so much.
I want to read this quote, because honestly, it sums up this entire explainer perfectly. No matter your genetic starting point, you can create conditions in which cancer struggles to survive, and your body can thrive.
So the biggest takeaway is this: your genetics are not your destiny. Your lifestyle choices literally create the chemical environment inside your body, and you have the power to influence whether that environment is a place where disease feels welcome or a place where it actively gets fought off.
So if you remember just one thing from all of this, let it be this number: 6. 6 pillars. 6 areas of your life where you have the power to make small, consistent changes that can build an internal environment that is profoundly unwelcoming to cancer.
Look, at the end of the day, this is all about partnership. It's about you working with your body, taking an active role to support the incredible natural systems it already has to prevent, to fight, and to heal.
And that leaves us with one final question, a question for you to think about. Looking at those 6 pillars, what's the first, maybe even the smallest, step you could take to start strengthening your own body's natural defenses, starting today?